Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press and College Basketball Coaches show powered by the Full Court Network. LT here in the saddle, and I got two fine jets on each side of me. Sam is not with us today, but it's okay. I'll bring the heat as always because I got to bring the juice man cometh. So here's what I got to say. So don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review and all the damn, so you'll see it at the bottom. So all that crap, we're really good at self-promoting, obviously. So if your marriages didn't work out and you guys joined in a marriage, your name Sundance would be Sundance Smiley.
This is a weird way to start. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
It's strange.
Yeah,
don't you think
nothing less, but
don't you think that would be a great coaching name, Sundance Smiley?
I thought we were gonna ease into this a little bit, and I didn't know we were going full send right off the bat. We're just talking about Sundance Smiley, or what if it was, we just had a word from Smiley Sundance.
Stranger name than Steve Wicks.
Steve Wicks.
That sounds like an epic. That would be a good name too, Steve Wicks.
Steve Wicks is going to be my alter ego from now on.
That name needs to be on the show. 1923. Steve
Yes.
Wicks.
Yes.
Good show, by the way.
Yes, great show.
So we already did have a name collaboration once upon a time. Back in from 99 to 03, it was Sonny and Smiley. All right, Sonny and Smiley, a.k.a. DJ Whips and DJ Dasho, the pregame, postgame, halftime show for the Northern State soccer team.
That actually turned into a basketball school. So, you're going old school. We actually turned that into the SNS basketball school. And really, if you want to start telling stories, we started with 4 kids. And it was the worst business model of all time. And then we literally had a camp. We charged the kids $100, and it was 8 to 5. We provided lunch and notebooks. The notebooks themselves put us in the red, and then the lunch, we were cooking burgers and spaghetti, different lunch every day. But the kicker was, I think it was 10 kids, 9 came back, so we had a 90% retention rate.
That's pretty good.
Literally 4 or 5 years later, we had about 200 kids, and so we got it done, man. But that was SNS.
SNS basketball camps, and we would go anywhere, for a buck. We'd go anywhere for a buck. Faith, South Dakota. We ran a camp in Faith, South Dakota. Shout out Doug Shower.
This is going to be the strangest 2 minutes and 45 seconds in the history of the Full Court Network, but I know it's getting real. So we got Sundance Wicks, head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys. And to my left or to your right, we got Coach Stephen Smiley from the Northern Colorado Golden Bears, the real UNC in my heart and in my mind. But so you guys are tied. Did you guys know each other before college or know of each other? I mean, I know one's from Colorado, one's from Wyoming, but hey, you never know.
There's going to do a disclaimer here before Steve talks, because this whole thing could submarine your show real fast. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All the stuff that could possibly come out, this could submarine not only your career as a podcast host, but also, our careers as basketball coaches, now knowing the intricacies of our relationship dating back to 1999. When I first called Steve on the phone, and we both signed with Northern State, the only 2 incoming recruits.
Yeah.
Steve was a presidential scholar. All right. He was a smart kid. I was sold to Northern State for, as you well know, 6 to 7 pheasants from Bob Olson. That was the real NIL back in the day. And then our first conversation is one of those weird, school conversations. What are you bringing? Smiley's I'm going to bring this TV with a VHS player attached to it. Back then, that was some high tech stuff. Right?
Yes, it was.
And I think I said I would bring a microwave.
Fridge. Those weren't allowed. You brought a fridge.
Yeah, I brought a fridge. Yeah, and then
those are illegal.
You had the best boom box as well. You had this 5-disc CD changer that was really neon blue.
That's high class. I had one of those in high school. Those were pretty tight.
Yeah, Steve brought all the good stuff. I was a poor kid from dirt roads at Gillette, Wyoming, and Steve brought all the swag. You know, I brought a Dreamcast. I brought a Dreamcast.
Well, I know this too. When we got there, who knows where this is going to go. We walked in the dorm room and we knew it was bad, but it was tile floors, no AC, summertime in Aberdeen, South Dakota, third floor, room 316. So we were there with our families moving in, and my dad said, let's go to Lowe's. No, it was Menards. Let's go to Menards and let's get you some carpet. And the only carpet that was on clearance was a roll of pink carpet, and Pops said, let's buy that. So in our room, true story, we had just one little roll of pink carpet covering the tile. So like these are real humble beginnings for us.
Humble beginnings. A lot of VHSs. We watched Night at the Roxbury almost every night. Steve and Doug Butabi. Yeah. Yep. Are you guys brothers? No. Yes.
All right, man, this thing's gonna get weird. You asked us, LT. Like, you're the one who requested this.
I know. I'm like, shit. This was all my idea. So, I guess what sold you on Northern State? I mean, I know Coach Meyer is a legend. I know Coach Smiley. You wrote a book about him. He's influenced many people. I mean, I saw a quote somewhere about Pat Summitt, who's one of the greatest college coaches, both man or woman, saying his influence on her. Was that kind of the draw? I know you got some pheasants and stuff, but
no, because Coach Meyer wasn't there. There was no Coach Meyer. Like Sonny said, we got signed by a guy named Bob Olson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, duh. I should maybe pay attention.
How small this world is, and Sonny, tell me if you're wrong, but his assistant Paul Sather saw us both at the same logo Sonny's wearing now. Saw us at the Wyoming team camp. His high school team, Campbell County. My high school team, Pomona High School. Sather worked now. Like Sather was a workhorse, and so he went out to the Wyoming team camp just to recruit and see who was out there. And I think he found us both at that team camp, and that's where we started getting recruited from our high school teams at the Wyoming team camp. The summer before, and so I think we both, in some capacity, signed for Ole. There was no Coach Meyer, and then Ole, he was old school. He's like, hey, if you put the arm out, if you cut my arm open, I'll bleed maroon and gold. I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. And he talked about VHS tapes on his fireplace and all these other kids that wanted to sign there. So we believed him. And he was truthful. He did not leave there. He became the AD, but he had to call us and say, hey, like, I will not be your coach because I'm now the athletic director. And that's when Coach Meyer came in long after we both signed. So, like, that was our stroke of luck and stroke of fate, is that the winningest coach of college basketball history eventually was the guy that we just walked into. But he probably would not have recruited either one of us. And then Sonny's such a weirdo that, he loves Sonny, but he was so tired of his crap about 2 weeks, and he probably would not have recruited him.
No way. There's no way. I mean, it's funny. What kids miss nowadays, and maybe there's some schools that still do it, but there is nothing like, because of the lack of technology, like getting letters from a university.
Yeah.
You got letters, like the anticipation of opening up a letter just to see what it said, and I had big dreams, high hopes. I was, probably, one of those guys that just came locked in a time capsule. I really wanted to go to Duke. That was my dream school. Ninth grade, my dad sends a letter off to Duke and says, my son would really like to play for Coach K and Duke. It was a big deal. I was waiting around for this. I was waiting. All of a sudden, lo and behold, about a year later, a letter comes in the mail from Duke. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done. Here it comes. And you open up the letter, and you're like, shaking hands or shaking. Dear Sundance, thank you for your interest in Duke University. To be certain, all of our scholarships for the next 3 years have been taken up. So we will not be, they have recruited like 5 years in advance, or at least they just lied to me. They're like, all those scholarships for the next 3 years have been taken up. We'd invite you to pursue other opportunities, maybe a different college or a university somewhere maybe that would actually take a bad player like you, I think my dad still has the letter where it's written like, all of our scholarships for the next 3 years are already done. So thanks for, sending a letter from Wyoming that you'd like to play for Duke. It was really, delusions of grandeur, let me tell you. But I just, the anticipation of getting a letter where you're like, maybe this is going to be good. And for me, I had PTSD after that. I never wanted to open up a letter ever again. Shove it back in my face. Good thing Wayne State and Northern State were around,
Yeah. Oh my God. That's you got any good stories like that, Coach Smiley?
Not that good.
No.
Not that good.
Do you know Steve had the 3-point record? He held the 3-point record at Pomona High School for a while. What did you have, 9 threes in a game, Steve?
Well, Sonny's he's the leading this into. By the time I was in my last year at Northern, I was not allowed to shoot 3. So like, there's ulterior motives.
Why not?
That because we had to win games.
87-mile-per-hour fastball. What was it?
Hey,
what was your...
Look,
that's nice.
Guy right here, man. The legendary Coach Meyer, man. That's why right there. Okay. And so, yeah, I don't know if you can see these or not, LT, but
yeah, I see him.
He literally banned me from shooting 3s, and somehow it actually worked. It actually worked. We won a championship, but that's a true story too.
Hey, this would be a hot question here for a little trivia question. Name a player in college basketball history who was not allowed to shoot 3s and was only allowed to shoot layups and free throws to win a conference tournament MVP.
Well, I know it's not Jack Golke at Oakland because he never shot anything in besides
Steve Smiley. I'll give you the answer. Steve Smiley. He's the only player ever in the history of college basketball to win a conference tournament MVP by only shooting free throws and layups. It's the most unbelievable stat you'll ever hear. It's unbelievable.
Well, you'd have to remove post players because there might be a post player, right? Like there might be an old school post. Name a point guard.
Point guard. There you go.
Yeah, there might be a post player, but that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
How much do you think LT is regretting asking for this interview right now?
I'm having a great time. It's just funny.
We're not gonna let you talk. We're gonna interview ourselves here.
I know. Well, hey, Coach Smiley is the record holder in assists because obviously you made some buckets there, Sundance.
Yeah, I mean he dined me. He knew what it was. You know, you had to find the guy who was always on fire. All right.
Yeah.
It was the real hot sauce before they invented and one. I was allowed to take 2 dribbles with my right hand going right. That's what I was allowed to do. Okay, so players don't understand what restrictions actually are nowadays. Like, the guys coming in, they're like, "Coach, let me rock out, dude. Let me do my thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." I mean, I would have loved had I gone into Coach Meyer's office in my sophomore year and been like, "Hey, Coach, I've really been working on my game. I think it's time for you to just, take it all, take the reins off, man. Let me go. Let me just rock out, dude. I can dribble with my left hand at least 2 times.
God,
I know that can
So
happen."
he comes in. How much did it change from former coach to current coach when he came in?
Well, I'll start this and we'll see where Sonny takes it. But no, we came into like a legitimately top 10 to 20. I mean, Northern State, historically one of the best Division II programs in the country, and Coach Olson was the same way. And so when we came in that year, we were preseason 13th in the country.
Just went to the Elite Eight.
Just went to the Elite Eight, elite stuff. But Coach Meyer's way was a little different. And I don't remember the full number, but by Christmas time, how many guys do we have left, Sonny, on that team?
7 or 8.
Seriously?
It was 8. It was 8 because then Scotty Hansen's ankle or Sevy's concussion or ankle or whatever happened when he took a charge against Duluth.
Yeah.
So we finished with 7 guys, and Steve was redshirting, so we finished with 6.
6 guys. Yeah, we had 6 guys because I redshirted, and in the last 5 games, we had 6 guys, and that's just what it was. And then it kind of grew from there. But it was a phenomenal first year. For all of us being away from home, we were, like Sonny said, we're the only 2 freshmen, so it wasn't like there's 8 new guys in there. We're the only 2 guys, and that team had high expectations, and it was just a different way. And the guys that didn't want to, do it Coach Meyer's way, his way won out. And like I said, we ended up with 7 guys, a bunch of managers and stuff like that, just to try to sort of play 5-on-5. It was wild.
That was one of the most unique experiences I've ever been through. And you talk about going through it, Navy SEALs embrace the suck, right? It was one of those years where you just question. You're probably never going to go through that stuff in high school, and still even today in college, you should have culture shock, right? When you go into a program, you go play for Smiley or whatever. You're going to come into a program, it's going to have some stuff. Here's what we do. Here's our standards, and it should shock you a little bit. I mean, that was a beyond shock what we went through. Mm-hmm. That was, and to that point, when you go through that, when you get forged through that fire, I mean, that's why we won 2 championships. Steve won 3. I always use Steve as a reference for redshirting because I still think people undervalue that. I think, and especially everybody wants to run this race so fast, and microwave society and, Instapot it, or whatever. And what is it? Air fryers, cooks.
Air fry.
But I always pose this question. what would have happened, and we look back on our career, what would have happened had you traded your freshman year for 2 senior years? So you trade your freshman year for 2 senior years. See, I didn't redshirt. I was a traditional 4-year guy. I was pretty average as a freshman, sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it, and then figured it out junior and senior year and won 2 championships. Well, had I been like Steve and, kind of played the long game here and redshirted and developed, man, I might be having 3 championships as well. And we might have went somewhere else, but I would have traded my freshman year, which really average, for 2 senior years where I was playing my best basketball. And the best basketball I was playing when I was over in Sweden, being a pro at 24 years old. I would have put a 23-year-old senior and now had all that experience. It's just, I always think if you wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, but if you say to a kid now, hey, we're gonna redshirt you, he might transfer.
No question.
I mean, that's the problem. I mean, today's college basketball, college sports landscape is, I mean, it's 100% different than when you guys played and I played. I'm a couple years older than you. And it's like, so when coaches say redshirt, I start chuckling because one, you're either trying to protect the kid from being good, which is not a bad thing sometimes, I guess. But the second thing is there's a high probability he's going to transfer if you redshirt him. I mean, it's unfortunate.
It's just hard. Like we just had a portal kid in here a little while ago, and he was a true freshman this year at his previous school. He played in like 8 games for like 49 minutes, and the school gave him the option to redshirt or play, and he chose to play, and he didn't get any time. He really regretted his decision. We actually had 4 freshmen this year, and we redshirted every single one of them. So the good stat for you, LT, is that in the Big Sky this year, the 3 best teams, us, Montana, Portland State, and maybe this is a small sample size, but the 3 of us, nobody played a true freshman of the 3 best teams. There wasn't 1 minute of a true freshman. But I think like our guys here that redshirted were really grateful for it because we protected them from the possibility of playing a total of 20 minutes all year. And so it is old school. Like a lot of guys don't redshirt. I don't know how much more of that we'll be able to do going forward. I have no idea. But we got a couple of these guys that we think will play good roles next year. They're talented, but like we were so old this year, we couldn't do it. And they trust us, but we don't force them to do it. It's always their decision. And if they want to do it, great. We kind of advocate, and I can use the example of myself. But if they don't want to do it, hey, by all means, we'll play as much as you can. If you can beat out these 23-year-olds, great. But usually that doesn't happen.
No. That's what I like where the NCAA is going with this. If they can, take the football model, you get to play a portion of your season and still be able to redshirt. I think that's
4 games. It's 4 games, isn't it, in football? So it's like almost 50%. It's 30% or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's great because you can figure it out if it's 4 year or not. Also, like on the table, the 5 years to play 5, right? So maybe you're not playing all 5 years. Maybe you're playing 4, but maybe you played half of your first year and something didn't work out. I just think there's ways around this now where you can actually like make it more beneficial outside of just a kid feeling like he's losing out on what's happening versus, hey, you're going to have the opportunity, the option to play, a quarter of your season in basketball, whatever that would be, if it was, 7 games or, 6 games or whatever. That would be, I think that would make a lot of sense just for us too, to be able to see like 2 exhibition games isn't enough or a closed door scrimmage isn't enough to evaluate what a dude can do against somebody else.
No.
You got to get some time to get some of those real reps.
Well, especially if they're 18, 19-year-old freshmen. Well, unless you're European, you might be 26 as a freshman, but we won't go there. But it's interesting because, I feel like though we're doing NIL, which is pretty much just pay for play, let's be honest, it helps the kid. But I think on the back end, the rules and the regulations that are happening aren't helping kids, i.e., the more exhibitions, hopefully they can do that where you can play a certain percentage and be able to participate. And then you have that conversation with that kid and the family, say, do you want to keep playing?
Right.
Or do you want a red shirt? And this is why I think you should do the red shirt. And now you've got like, listen, we're not going to play you much. So, but who knows? But let me ask you guys this. How much of Coach Meyer is in each of your own personal coaching style?
Go ahead, Steve.
I think for me a lot. I still have like my player notebooks behind me in the office, and then my coach. So I played for him for 5, but I also had a chance to coach with him for 2, so 7 years. And so still a lot. I think the biggest thing though, and Sonny probably said the same, but like it's in my philosophy, it's in my DNA, the quotes, the structure. The biggest thing he ever taught me, and I think a lot of players say the same, is how to manage your time, be efficient with your time. It's not the quotes. It's the, planning your week on Sunday night and playing the next day, the night before, and stuff like that stuff's real. And it helps us to stay efficient and organized. But I think for me, the flip side, though, is when I got my first head job at Sheridan College, and I was 26 years old, if I tried to act like Coach Meyer, just in the sense of like the way his coaching style was, I would have lost my team in 10 days. I was barely older than half those players. I was young. So the thing that for me is like, I just like my personality is so much different than Sonny's, and it's so much different than a lot of these different guys. But like the one thing is like, you just got to be who you are. You got to be comfortable in your own skin. But in terms of like systematically and strategically, and like we still have player notebooks up here. So like absolutely, but try to do it with your own personality. That's the way I would do it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's very similar. I played for 4 years and then was a GA for 2. So I got 6 years with Coach. I thought getting behind the curtain of the Wizard of Oz was important. As a player, you just don't understand. Right. And then when you get behind the curtain, you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, like there's a lot more to this than you ever thought. And I just remember thinking to myself, I had no idea how much time coaches spent thinking about players. I had no idea. I just thought they were all grumpy old men, and that they found ways to make you go through it. But I had no idea that they spent every single second of their day outside of maybe some time with their family, that they spent thinking about the team and the players around them, and how to make them better and how to get everybody to work as one. And then I just think the gift of Coach Meyer was being around and being involved in, even if it wasn't just you personally, but being around him and high-level conversations, hearing intricate, detailed, schematic talks on basketball strategy or schemes, and basically, beating it up, like beating up every single thing, whether it was permanent pivot foot or inside pivot, or how long you held your follow through, the proper shooting technique, and just dissecting it at such a level where you couldn't help but get part of that inside of you. So now you're sitting here and your DNA is this, and now you're overanalyzing almost every single thing that happens, and you're building the game from the ground up from a player development standpoint, and all of that stuff translates on the floor. And so for me, the skill development side of it was just, it was astronomical to be able to go to a coach's academy and then have somebody ask, why do you do permanent pivot foot? And then he would sit there and he would try to debunk the myth of permanent pivot foot or inside pivot foot, and he would get in a 3-hour conversation on pivoting, right? With a random middle school coach. And you could be sitting there going, this is crazy. I had no idea that the world thought about pivoting this way. And that was why he made 30 instructional plus VHSs and DVDs on how to play the game, because every single thing was broken down to such a minute detail that it's never been replicated. I don't care what coaching platforms or DVDs or VHSs or anything comes out there now. It's never been done to the depth at which he went. And that's what made him the coach's coach, right? Like to Coach Smiley's point, is everybody went to him for answers. It was like a trip to Mecca when he held the Don Meyer Coaching Academy. It was like a trip to Mecca. You're going to the basketball Mecca, and you're going to go listen to the guy who's basically coached every – and I'm talking college, high school, middle school, whatever. Like every coach came to listen. And then he'd have Tubby Smith, or he'd have Bill Self, or he'd have Pat Summitt, or John Wooden, Jerry Krause, like Rick Majerus, whoever he had, Dick Bennett, whoever he had come. I mean, it was unbelievable to bring him to Aberdeen, South Dakota, or David Lipscomb in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, to me, that's where the gift and the curse of playing for Coach Meyer is. Everything is you're analyzing everything, and it's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah. Have you ever told Coach K at one of these clinics, if he came to Coach Meyer's clinics, that you got this letter from him?
I know it wasn't from him. I know it was from the graduate assistant sitting back in the cubicle being like, respond to this kid in Wyoming, please. Just stamp it.
So Coach Meyer had 3 major rules, and I understand 2 out of the 3. I'm trying to figure out where he came up with everybody picks up trash.
Yeah, I think Sonny could probably break something better, but like one, I think he says like it keeps the office clean, the place clean, the world clean, but it also makes sure it humbles you. If you're down there picking up trash, it's going to humble you. So it's one, it's better to have a clean place, and it's like make your bed. If you make your bed, you're going to have a better day. So it's like that part, but then two, like if the leader picks up trash, the leader will be humbled. Is that right, Sonny?
Yeah. So it's the double meaning here to this is. You've got to leave the place better than when you found it.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to leave the place better. That was our locker rooms. Every locker room we went on the road. We picked up every piece of trash in the locker room for every taped ankle. Leave the place better than when you found it. Right. And then the humility part of this is huge. But on a good team, one or two people do the dirty work. And on a great team, everybody does the dirty work. And the dirty work is picking up trash. And it's making sure that your place, man, this is your area of work. Like Frosty Western, you make the big time where you are. You don't leave pieces of trash sitting around your office or your locker room or your court. I mean, this is your place of work. This is your profession. And so that sticks with us to this day. Is we always talk about picking up trash in the locker room. I know probably Steve does it too when they're leaving a place. Like make sure the locker room's clean. I'm not sure how many people actually do that or how many coaches actually care about that anymore.
Yeah. That's truth. I know the kind of the analogy behind it, but I just think it's funny. You read, everybody takes notes, you understand that one. Everybody says please and thank you. Then everybody picks up trash, which I get it. It's obviously great and words to live by.
He had some vision though. Like if you were you'd be in the Barnett Center and he'd see like a piece of trash about 300 yards, south. And he just, he's like, where are we going? And he picked up this little piece of paper and just like, okay, now you're just showing off, right? You're just showing off now. Like that's all that's happening right here.
Oh my God.
But I think too, like that's the lasting legacy. Like it's not the basketball system, the stuff we were doing, no one even does anymore. But like the visionary stuff of it's like really think about it, right? Like, that lesson that we were learning in 1999 is still relevant today. Like, just courtesy, like just please and thank you. Just be courteous, especially the way the world's going, right? Like those lessons, they're still there, and they're probably more valuable now than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
I have 14,000 notebooks in my office still. I write everything down still. It's probably antiquated. I need to get like the Remarkable tablet, like the where it looks like you're writing down, but it just converts it to a Word doc.
There's something called a computer too.
Yeah. What?
A computer. It's called the internet.
No, I'm writing it all down. These are like the lost scrolls over here, the Dead Sea, Dead Sea scrolls.
You just got trees dying in your office, Coach. But
they are. They would not like me.
They are. So let me ask you guys this. I want to see who is better or who was better. We're going to have a little competition between these two former roommates and friends, okay? So who would you say in college had better hair?
That's a no-brainer. I mean, I was living the dream until I decided to dye my hair like Eminem, bleach blonde every, 2 weeks. And then my roots died. And next thing you know, I'm scathing bald here, 25 years old. I had a great head of hair. Let's be honest here, LT. Like it was immaculate. Steve would agree with that.
Yeah, and LT, like what you're seeing now, like just reverse it, man. Now, maybe not the beard, but like this dude had a mane, like a mane of hair.
Was it? I pitch you like in semi-pro with Will Ferrell. Is it kind of that hair or no?
He would perm it.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, it's there. It was floby. I think the floby was the word I would describe it. It was very floby. I'm not sure that's a word, but it flowed like a buffalo mane.
Okay.
Pretty coarse. Yeah.
He wins that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Who had the higher GPA?
Oh, come on.
Me.
I mean, presidential scholar over here, like partial Paul.
Was it even close, or was it like a full point or two?
He was a good student. He was good.
No, Steve was like, he broke GPA barriers. All right. So when GPA started going over 4, that was Steve. Steve invented that shit. Okay. So like
that's a lie. We didn't have that at Northern. We didn't have weighted GPA. We were not up to the technology in Aberdeen was not there yet.
It was 4.2. And look, Steve got me through international business. I'm going to be honest with you. I got into the major. I thought I was going to be a teacher, and then I realized that my mom's salary was, and I said, I'm not teaching. I'm going to be an international business major. I'm going to wear nice, fine Italian suits and, be the head of a multinational corporation. And then I realized that I couldn't understand foreign trade and economics. And so Hiller Newman was going to, fail me through every class had I not had Steve, next to me. So like that was, Steve was definitely, he wins it. He wins that. He's a lot smarter than me.
All right. Well, who would you say Coach Meyer yelled at more?
That's easy. It's me. So do I win that point? Me.
Even close?
Nah,
no.
Sonny get real sensitive because like Meyer get on everybody but Sonny. Like he loves Sonny. So like there was one time we had a guy named Yardo, right? So he'll listen to this. So he Dustin Yomlin was just a hack and he'd foul everybody. So he banned Dustin from guarding Sonny because he was worried about Sonny getting hurt. Like there's no doubt about it. And he would attack me verbally. Like there's no, I win that one.
The best part is like Steve's from Colorado, right? He's from Colorado. I mean, he called Steve California cool. Hey, California cool. You got to get Steve and I here trying to mix and shake and do all this shift stuff. He's like, hey, California cool. And then Steve will be shooting pull-ups. Back when non-pain twos were still a thing. 15-foot pull-ups. I think Coach Meyer just didn't want him shooting those pull-ups anyways. Every time it was Steve. He got it. Point guard for Coach Meyer. They got it a lot. Steve got it, man. He got it.
I would say this: my journey into Coach Meyer's heart was a little bit more of a marathon, where Sundays was just a 100 yard or 100-meter sprint. Like the journey to his heart took a little longer, but we got there.
And the funny part is your teammates. This is what everybody misses about the portal nowadays: is they don't get to develop the long-standing relationships and the inside jokes that you have. And my senior year, I had some really bad ankles. All right, me. Dr. Burton Elrod, the Tennessee Titans doctor, worked on my ankle. He said, I only seen one ankle worse. It's Steve Air McNair's, right, quarterback of the Titans. It was pretty messed up. And so Coach Meyer would, after the weekends, he wouldn't let me practice on Monday. And so I had to get on a bike. And I pissed me off because I'm like, all right, this is some BS. These guys they're gonna let me hear it all the time.
Oh yeah.
And so as the Monday started rolling, like pretty soon there'd be newspapers out by my bike, and they'd be like, "Hey, Sonny, we brought you some papers for your ride today." And then fast forward a couple weeks later, I go into my locker room. My locker tag usually says Wicks. It's just Wicks on there, and my locker tag had been ripped off and been replaced with Russell. And I was like, "What is this? What is this crap?" And the guys were like, "Oh, well, we just figured since you were player coach Bill Russell." That we would just change your last name to Russell, give you your bike and your newspapers, and really treat you, crown the king over here. I'll tell you what, man, it's SOBs, just dirty suckers over here, just pulling pranks on you. To this day, I'll still get texts. Hey, Russell, how you doing? How's your ankles holding up, Russell? Crap.
So I'm up California. I'm up 2-1.
You're up 2-1. Okay.
California cool and Bill Russell over here. I mean, what do we?
Okay, let's see if we can try to even it out here. Who had the better pickup lines in college?
Define better. Define better because
more. How about most effective?
That's it. Territory. Now, there's got to be a line here, but
Steve-O's like got this like dry sense of humor where. You don't know. Like it seems
both styles were fine. Both styles worked.
Yeah, both styles fine.
That's a push right there, LT.
That's a wash. I mean, pickup lines didn't exist in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Pickup. It's like, were you good at basketball? That was back when people would roll jocks. Like, were you good at basketball or not? That was kind of more your clout. It was like not the pickup lines or your YouTube channel, but it was like, could you hoop? Did you have some stuff to you?
Okay, so who was the better dancer in college?
I'm an elite dancer. I could have started Magic Mike. Just being honest with you.
We're 2-2 now. We're 2-2. That's not a dispute.
You're not even going to argue with them?
No.
Steve like Kevin James off a Hitch. Where he tried to keep his hands here, and then Steve's going to just break out something like slap across the face. Don't you ever do that again. Don't you ever.
My style is a little different, LT, but yes, there's no argument on that. Like 2-2.
Your style. All right.
Yeah, 2-2. I'm a mover.
All right. Better dresser in college.
That's tough because
I mean, style back then was different, man. Like,
we just wore sweatsuits all the time because it's so cold up there, and we don't, they talk about those schools up in, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, where there's tunnels. Where our school was so small, there was no tunnels, so you still had to like walk out there and freeze your face off. So like, it was just sweatsuits and parkas.
Well, we didn't have NIL. We couldn't go out and buy stuff. If we got NIL, guess where we were shopping? Maurice's or the Buckle.
Okay? I was just gonna bring that up. Like, we had this little mall. We had this mall, and it's like there's
Lakewood Mall. There's
only 2 stores, and so like it might have been equal. Like there's only 2 stores, so there's only like 4 choices for pants, and like if you really want to like put your money into it, like the LT was bad, man. Like
Buckle had the market cornered too, so their jeans were spending. You went into the Buckle. I mean, you're talking back then. I mean, you think about jeans now, like they're $70 for a pair of jeans at the Buckle.
Now, Sonny takes a lot of pride in still dressing nice. He's one of those guys that still wears a suit in the sideline. I don't do that, man. Give me a quarter suit. So, like, let's give that one to him. Let's get it. He's up 3-2.
Okay.
If we're going to go now, I mean, now, yeah, like my fashion's pretty high fashion now.
Okay, so last question. Who would eat more in college?
Ooh. Pillsbury Doughboy over here.
I guess that's me. Yeah, I guess that's me.
Coach Meyer called him a Pillsbury Doughboy when he came in. I mean, it's like, yeah, California cool Pillsbury Doughboy. I mean, it's like
no, the verbal abuse would get you fired. And that was not behind closed doors. He put that in the paper. He put that in the Aberdeen newspaper.
Oh, come on.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, man. I tried to get jacked up. The problem was in Dirty Cafe is they had this little waffle maker. And so, like, as I was trying to put weight on it, this is my redshirt year. Like, I was trying to bulk up. I took it too far, man. So, like, they had like this kind of jelly paste, whipped cream, and it went too far. So then he attacked me verbally and called me a Pillsbury Doughboy in the paper, which I love. Like, it was all good, but like, yeah, so it's 3-3. I won that one. Like, we got to have a tiebreaker, LT.
But LT,
LT,
hold on. Like, people don't realize this. We had Derek Budick. He was a revolutionary strength and conditioning coach. Derek Budick was DB. DB was high level, man. Like, that's all timer right there. And he created this drink called the Get Big drink.
Yes.
Okay. And he had convinced us that this was the way. Like, if you wanted to put on weight, like, you had to drink the Get Big drink. And this was a monstrosity here. You're talking about flaxseed, protein powder, a full gallon of ice cream, a tub of ice cream, peanut butter, honey, milk, and like all blended into like, and you had to carry around like a gallon of, it was in a gallon, and you're just drinking this paste throughout the course of a day.
They're like 9,000 calories a day.
I'd shit my brains out.
Yeah, no, we're all acting like we're Michael Phelps over here, burning 10,000 calories a day. It's like, it wasn't that serious, but like, we had dudes just carrying Get Big drinks around campus. And there was not an open stall around the Barnett Center for a while.
Oh my God.
It's 3-3, LT. It's 3-3.
I'm trying to think what a good tiebreak. Okay, I got one for you. If you ran a race right now, who would win?
What kind of race?
It's a pet. This is very, very, very.
Yeah, he's got bad ankles, so like I could probably parlay this pretty easily. He's got bad ankles, so like now he was in high school. Weren't you like a high jumper, like a
hurdles? No, he was like a state champion in hurdles.
Race, he's gonna beat me on technique. I don't know how to do that, but like depends on what race you're talking about. LT.
Are we going sidelines? Are we going full court lengths? Are we going like distance?
Full court.
Distance?
Full court.
He wins distance. He's a distance guy. Like, he can run.
Yeah,
like Ramsey. We could do a Ramsey, like a down and back 10 times. Ramsey.
Yeah, no, one time. I don't want to kill you guys.
I want to do Ramsey because I think he's still got more burst, more turbo, but I think he's his body's broken. So like, I want to do the Ramsey. I want to do the down and back 5 times, like 10 lengths. I'm gonna get him on that.
I'll tell you what, we're gonna die doing this though.
There's gonna be injury.
Like, I'll pull a hammy. I'll be at Kevin Hart pulling a hammy.
So like, I asked you a couple questions. I was at the Mountain West Conference tournament and the press conference and stuff like that. Coach Smiley, do you ever listen to his press conferences and just kind of laugh, like H fighting, there will be blood? I mean, small doses. I try not to inundate myself with too much of this nonsense. You gotta understand, man.
this is 4 years of my life, and really 2 years in the same room. So like, people think this stuff's funny now. Like I had to like survive 2 years of this stuff at a young, impressionable age.
I mean, we're going to cycle this back because it was like the first question you asked, like if Steve and I were Sunny Smiley or whatever we were, Sundance Smiley. If we're going to circle this back here, every morning I didn't have an alarm clock. I just had Steve hacking up a lung every morning in the dorms at like, he's always hacking up stuff.
Really?
I just like, this is what a married couple sounds like. Married couple sounds like this, these things. Have you ever seen the movie Crazy Stupid Love?
Yes. Great movie.
Yeah, that's Steve right now. Steve Carell in Crazy Stupid Love right now. This is exactly who he is. Right?
I need to watch that, so I don't know if I should be offended. I haven't seen that one, so I'm
he
gonna.
Also dresses like him before he meets.
That's a good one. No, with Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah,
Gosling. That's a great movie. No, I don't dress like him. This is just being disrespectful at this point in time. Like,
Steve is Steve Carell, and I'm Ryan Gosling. Okay, that's how this works.
So when are you guys going to play each other?
Never. We're gonna do something pretty cool here, and we could probably launch this right now if we wanted to, Steve-O.
By all means,
let the world know. Like we're gonna, they're allowing you to do more exhibition games.
Yeah.
And I'm from Gillette, right in Gillette, Wyoming. Steve-O's been in Wyoming at Sheridan Junior College back when Region 9 was still popping, and Steve spent some time a lot in that area, Black Hills, in Gillette and Sheridan. We're gonna go up and we're gonna do a charity exhibition game at Gillette College here on October 18th, where we get to scrimmage each other and do some good for the community, give a little bit back to Gillette, and try to raise some money for a good cause. And
SNS basketball camp.
We're reunited again. But it's like Steve puts all these. He's a visionary, man. He thinks about these things a lot, and is an idea guy. Myself, when we're together, when Steve and I are together, man, it's pretty dynamic. It's why we were a good team. You complement each other, right? You got an unbelievable point guard guy that thinks it, and I'm more like pivot and play as fast as you can and think on your feet a lot. And for us to be able to put this together and do something special, I mean, it's one of these things where it's kind of surreal for me as my best friend, right? To be able to sit there and know that we're in the same region together and get a seat and do this stuff. And he gets to watch them win championship last year was one of the coolest things ever, just as a best friend, watching your best friend win a championship. You don't get to experience those things, and we're lucky to be running this race kind of side by side here.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are really doing a great job both at each program. I mean, I know there's some challenges, especially, and I hate to say the high mid-major or the mid-major level, but it's cool that, would you have ever thought sleeping in your dorm room with a non-air conditioning, which, I mean, it doesn't get freaking hot in Aberdeen, South Dakota, let's be honest, but
third floor.
Did you ever think you guys would both be D1 head coaches? Literally an hour and a half, 2 hours away from each other?
I didn't even think I was going to coach. I had no intention of coaching after I finished playing. I thought I was going to stay in business. So
Steve went down to Nuevo Laredo. He went down to Laredo, Texas, man, right next to Nuevo Laredo to go get a master's degree in international business.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sure that Steve was joining the cartel. That's what I thought was happening. I thought that was going to be it, but
I mean, kind of looks like it right now.
Pablo Chacon off of We're the Millers. I'm just roasting it right now.
That's right. So no, like I never had the intention, but like it is like really surreal that we're literally like an hour and a half away. And it's also interesting too, just like I think in college coaching, like to ever get a chance to get back to coach in your home state is almost impossible. And I'm from Colorado, and then Sonny's from Wyoming. It's like from both. And then like even at our school at Northern State, there was like 4 people from the state of Wyoming and 2 people from Colorado. So like for us to meet there and be roommates there and best friends, and now we're back in our home areas, like it's really weird, to be honest with you. It's really strange, but it's awesome.
Bigger stuff going on here. LT. We don't know what it is. Bigger stuff going on here, man.
Yeah. Got the governor and the senator, or actually, Pablo Chacon.
Yeah, but that's a teaser for later. Bigger stuff going on.
So what can we expect from you guys? I want to finish it off with this. What can you expect from each team this year? I mean, you obviously, you had to kind of rebuild, and that's just the nature of college basketball right now. I mean, let's let Coach Smiley, since he's the shy, well, he used to wake your ass up every morning. Let him go first. The alarm, aka Steve Smiley, right here. What can we expect from the Golden Bears?
Well, it's funny, like just I know this is kind of timestamp the same, but as of yesterday or whatever, Sonny put out there that Portal Combat is done for him. They signed the team, and so we have one spot left, so we're not done yet. So, but I think for us, we have a lot of winning coming back. We had a great season, one of the best seasons in the history, right? And so
awesome.
I don't mind saying that. I mean, it was cool, and we have a lot of those guys back. And we lost a couple guys to the pros and a couple guys to the portal that were tremendous players for us. But we do have a lot of good players coming back, and I think that a lot of guys that understand what winning is and kind of understand what that locker room is. So it's kind of built around that. And then I love what we've signed so far, not just in the portal, but portal, junior college, high school kids. We've had a great class so far. We have to still finish it out, but I think our league is getting better and better.
Jeez. You see what Sac State did? I mean, Shaquille's playing for the Hornets next year. They found some eligibility.
Oh yeah. So no, it's exciting, but no, I think our league's definitely getting better. But I think that for us, I mean, the way that we want to play and playing fast and that won't change. But I think we got a chance to be really good. But there's a lot of curiosity too. Like it'll be interesting to see when we start in June. Like what do we actually look like? I've got an idea, but I don't really know. I mean, I think we'll be good, but time will tell. Sonny?
Yeah.
It's such a wild time, right? And it's if you're not an early adopter, if you're not an adapt or die guy, like it's just, I feel bad for the lifelong fans, right? That have all the blood in the bricks in a lot of ways, because it just pulls at them a little bit. But when you get on the wagon here and you understand that this is what it is, it's new and exciting. I mean, let's be honest. You could be mediocre at best last year, and you could be fighting for a championship the next year. You could be winning a championship last year and struggling the next year.
Place. Yep.
It just flips on its head every year. And for us, we were just really intentional.
Coach Wicks, is that sustainable, like long term for this model?
Well, we're TBD, right? Like we're like a trial drug right now. Like this whole thing, like a trial drug, and pretty soon we're going to find out, 15 years from now, like what are the side effects, right, of all this stuff. There's going to be a lot of collateral damage that comes down the pipe here in a while, and it's going to be TBD. We don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I know this. There's a lot of people working a lot harder now on trying to figure out college athletics than there ever was before.
Yeah.
You're talking all the way from the president down. Like this is unprecedented times for people that are invested in figuring this out. And our job is still to put together teams and championship programs. It's our job.
Yeah.
So we were really intentional in targeting identity for us this year, real identity. Kind of doubling down at who we were, who we were at Green Bay and who we were at Missouri Western. It was such a weird year last year, getting the job, latest job in the cycle. We doubled down on identity, trying to make sure that we, Coach Meyer always talked about, if you get A talent and you get A mindset, man, you're pretty special, right? And a lot of us don't get A talent, A mindset guys, but we focused a lot on A mindset. And if we got A talent, great. But if we got B talent with an A mindset, we were still going to win. But what we can't have is we can't have A talent with the B mindset.
Yeah.
That's
the
just
truth.
really important to target toughness, target size, switchability, and physicality, and then give us more, being a little bit more dynamic on the wing, and then from the guard spot, and then being able to stretch the floor. And so I'm excited about this group of guys because I think they're tough and they're all about winning, man. I'm not saying this in a bad way to throw shade anywhere, but we only dealt with one agent this offseason at the Mountain West level. It's pretty rare.
Jeez.
We dealt with one
agent. Was he charging 20%?
It was great. It was great to work with. I mean, it was great to work with. We had a past player that had been here before, and so we'd worked with one agent. And he was awesome. But we worked with families again. We worked with moms and dads, right?
Yeah.
We worked with people that were closely associated to the family unit, which is what Wyoming is. We're a family. And so for me, I'm just excited about the families that are coming in here and the identity of the young men that are coming here and the toughness that we're going to have. And to me, that's going to be night and day different from a little bit of like who we were last year identity. I thought we had a lot of talent last year. And I probably did a bad job because I got to be able to coach talent better. had to be able to coach talent better and didn't do a good enough job last year. But at the end of the day, man, you just neuralize yourself like Men in Black, wipe the slate clean, and do it all over again.
Coach Smiley can attest to this because he's been at Northern Colorado for a bit. Even though it's a different landscape, like year 2, I think is so crucial. And I think now that you've had some time, to just build what's this about, people actually saw it. I mean, I watched both your guys' games last year. That's the problem with living in the Midwest or the East Coast. They're so damn late, but it's such good basketball. Mountain West and Big Sky Conference basketball is just like awesome. And I think for both you guys, I mean, Coach Smiley, you've been consistent every year. I mean, you're losing your best player every year, and we're going to USC, Tennessee, you name it, what you can be competitive against next year. And with you too, Ogbin, he's gone. I really enjoyed watching him play a couple times, but you're just going to reload. And I think it's great that you guys are embracing it. You're not saying to me off or on air, oh, this is garbage or whatever. This is just what it is. So, I really appreciate it, guys. I want you guys to stick on one more second until I upload. We got Coach Sundance Wicks from Wyoming, Coach Smiley from Northern Colorado. You put them together, it's Sundance Smiley. We're going to start. We're going to end like that. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to the Full Court Press and the Full Court Network. We're going to have some fun this summer. I mean, it's the off season. Let's have some fun. We start off with these two good guys, some of the best young, bright coaches out there, and I really appreciate your time. And check us out next week on the Full Court Press College Basketball Coaches Show.